This is the bacon wrapped asparagus. Out of the 3 recipes, this one actually has the highest carbs. It's 3 carbs per serving. As you'll see here in a little bit, though, it's a fairly decent sized serving, though. But because of the eggs that's used in it and the sour cream and everything, it does have a higher carb count than the other 2 did. All right, the asparagus, we're going to need these ingredients. Okay. We're going to use olive oil. Now, olive oil is 0 carbs, so it's really good working with it. It actually, consists of healthy fats. Now I'm going to put a little bit of ground black pepper. This is actually really good with white pepper too. Just lightly sprinkle it over it there. Okay. Let me go ahead and got to snap the ends off right quick. As you see, the ends just come right off. Now, when you wrap this, you do not want to overlap the bacon. So what you want to do is have it to where it kind of touches the edge going all the way around. Like so. And that you would bake in an oven at 400 degrees for 12 minutes. Basically what you want to do is just make sure the bacon gets cooked. Depending on how thick the bacon is, it may need to go just a little bit longer, approximately 15 minutes if need be. Okay. And then while that's cooking, you can be making your sauce. Now, as I was saying, it's a mock hollandaise sauce because we're not using butter, we're using sour cream for this. So the first thing you want to do is you actually want to put the sour cream in and the lemon juice first. Now when you're cooking this, you want to make sure that, unless you're using a double boiler, that if you're using a bowl like this, make sure that it's not sitting in the water, because what will happen, it'll scorch the bottom of this. Also, you do not want it to get too hot. Don't crank it all the way up to above medium, because then it'll start scrambling the eggs once you put the eggs in there. So keep it about medium-low heat. Take that. Make sure that lemon juice is stirred in really good all the way through it. Now, one of the tricks that I've learned in making this, even if you're using butter, just making regular hollandaise sauce is, go ahead and make sure and get this heated up part way before you add the eggs. That'll allow you to bring the eggs up to temp quicker without overcooking the eggs. And plus, obviously, it being eggs, you want to make sure that you bring it up to temp for health reasons. Okay. All right, so we're going to need 4 egg yolks. go. And you do want to make sure and beat these really good before you add it to that also. Change up the gloves here. And we'll turn that up just a little bit now. Because once you add the eggs, you're going to have to pretty much be beating this nonstop. You don't want to take any chance of them basically scrambling up in there on you. Okay. Beat those up there. Before I forget, I'm going to go ahead and put the dash of cayenne in there. Just a little bit. You actually will not taste the heat from this, but you will have just a little bit of the flavor. You can even use a hot sauce if you want to instead of cayenne. Okay. All right. Move that off before it gets too hot. There you go. So one of the things you're looking for is keep this, smooth and consistent throughout it. If you see on the edges where it comes up, if they start turning from a light yellow to a dark golden yellow, probably have your heat up a little too high. And you want to turn it down just a little bit. Okay. Usually about 3 to 5 minutes, depending on the size of bowl that you're using, because, obviously if it's a larger bowl, it's going to cover more surface and be quicker. Okay. Do what?
Do you use a thermometer or anything?
Yeah. When I do the final testing, yep. And as you're whipping it, you will notice that it will fluff up a little bit on you. But still keep that, whisking action going rapidly through there to keep it nice and smooth. Okay. And if you don't have one, it's always handy to keep a thermometer. Okay, it's almost there.
What temperature does it need to be at?
Do what?
What temperature does it
It's got to be at least up to about 165. Now, usually with poultry, they suggest 160. In some places, will actually suggest 170, about 165 for health. Usually works really well. Oh. Wash this up. Okay. And you will notice that it will start thickening up a little bit. That's what you want. Normally once it gets to that stage, that's when you want to temp it, because it should be close to 160 there. That's about it. But as you can see, also I'm making this sauce. It is a bit time consuming. You know, some people, like I said, they've fussed about it. They love the flavor of it. They've eaten it at restaurants, but every time they try to make it at the house, they always ruin it, and they don't know why. And so that's where it's crucial to make sure that you don't have the bowl sitting down actually in the water, and you don't have the temperature up too high, because it will either scorch the bottom, give it a scorched flavor, or it actually scramble the eggs on you. And so you'll have all these lumps. Okay. There we go. Now it's best to make that the very last thing that you do. You can hold this, for a good 30 minutes in a steam table, but it's better fresher. The fresher you can get it, the better. And once that is done, put this out. Okay. Asparagus. And you only want about 1 ounce of this. Just lightly bring that over. And this I always like to put just a little bit of fresh or dried parsley. Give it a nice look. And when you have the combination of these three together, they are wonderful. And if this right here, it's 3 grams of carbs. This is considered 1 serving. Now, if you're not on a low-carb diet and you want to add something to this, we used to take pastry shells and wrap around this and bake it off like that. Everything exactly the same, the bacon wrapped around it, then the pastry shell, and then put the Hollandaise sauce on top of it after it's baked off. And that's really good. So basically that's the same recipe, I just took out all the carbs.